My mother-in-law wore white to my wedding last week. I found out she's been wearing my actual wedding dress to parties for the past 2 years. The first red flag should have been when Carol showed up to our engagement party in a cream-colored gown that photographed white. It's champagne, she insisted when guests raised eyebrows. Jack, my then fiancé, laughed it off. Mom just likes to look nice. She means well. On our wedding day, she arrived in a full white beaded dress. Not ivory, not off-white, bright, blinding white with a train. My bridesmaids formed a protective wall around me while my sister Emma handled it. Spill red wine on me and I'll sue, Carol hissed at Emma. This dress cost more than her entire wedding. I pretended not to hear, smiled for photos where she deliberately stood next to me, creating confusion about who the bride was, kept my peace for Jack. 2 years passed, Carol and I maintained a cold distance. Then last week, my phone exploded with notifications, and they had sent me an Instagram post from Carol's country club friend. The photo showed Carol at a charity gala. She was wearing my wedding dress, the one that should have been in preservation storage at my house. My hands shook as I zoomed in, the delicate lace sleeves I'd had custom made, the pearl buttons my grandmother had sewn on by hand, even the tiny wine stain on the hem from where my cousin had stepped on it during our first dance. I ran to our spare closet, tore open the preservation box. Empty in its place was a cheap David's bridal dress, 2 sizes too small, with a note. Left you this one just in case minus mom. Jack found me sobbing on the closet floor. When I showed him the photos, his face went white. There must be an explanation. The explanation came when we checked Carol's social media. She'd worn my dress to 5 events over 2 years, each time with different alterations. She'd had it taken in at the waist, added a belt, even had the train shortened. Check the comments, Emma texted. It gets worse. Under each photo, Carol had responded to compliments with, "Oh, this old thing, just something I had made years ago. Timeless style, isn't it? The one my late grandmother had helped design. The one I'd saved for 3 years to afford." Jack called her immediately. I watched his face cycle through confusion, shock, then rage as she explained. "She says you never wear it anyway," he told me, hand over the phone. "Says it's a waste to keep it boxed up. At someone should get use out of it." I grabbed the phone. "Carol, that dress was being preserved for our future daughter." "Well," she laughed, "when that happens, I am sure you can afford a new one. It's just fabric, dear. Just fabric, like my mother-in-law. Wearing white to my wedding was just champagne. Like her announcing our pregnancy before we could was just excitement. Like her giving tours of our home and calling it my son's house was just semantics." I hung up and did something I'd never done before. I called a lawyer. Turns out stealing and altering a $15,000 dress is grand larceny. Who knew? But first I had one stop to make. The country club's annual Mother's Day brunch was tomorrow, the same one where Carol had worn my dress last year. I arrived early in a simple black dress and waited. Carol swept in wearing my dress again, this time with added rhinestones, RH-inestans. "Oh, Emma told me you found out about my little borrowing," she giggled. "No harm done. It looks better on someone who can properly fill it out anyway." I smiled. "You're right. It does look nice on you. The police photographer will love it." 2 officers walked in behind me. "Carol Walsh, we need you to come with us." The entire country club watched as she was escorted out in my wedding dress. By the time we got to the station, local news had picked up the story. Mother-in-law arrested in wedding dress theft. We also discovered she'd taken my grandmother's jewelry, my college diploma to reframe, and even my birth certificate for safekeeping. The dress was returned, but it was destroyed, cut and altered beyond repair. I cried, holding the remains of what my grandmother and I had created together this morning. A package arrived. Implied was a new preservation box and a note from the seamstress who had originally made my dress. "I heard what happened. I kept your original patterns and spare lace. Let's make your daughter's dress together when the time comes." Sometimes justice isn't about getting things back. It's about finally drawing the line that should have been drawn in white.